Hello and welcome to Michael's Minty Music for today. Today we review Led Zeppelin's 1971 album, Led Zeppelin IV, sometimes called Untitled because it doesn't have a title. It's pretty good, for sure. It's got a good flow and most of the songs are pretty decent, so definitely a good album. This is the track listing, and these are the tracks added to my playlist. 7 out of 8, all of them but one. This album is definitely good. The first side is really great. It starts out with 2 upbeat rock songs and then sort of slows it down into Stairway to Heaven. The second side isn't as great, but it's not that bad. Misty Mountain Hop isn't great, but Going to California is pretty amazing, so it ends up being pretty even on side 2. One of the interesting things is that I noticed this in 1 or 2 of their previous songs, but especially on this album, a lot of the early Led Zeppelin songs have references to Lord of the Rings and Tolkien in it for some reason. But I think it weirdly works pretty decently with their music, so hey, if that's what they want to take inspiration from, I'm not going to stop them. Their music's pretty good. There were no singles released before the album, and my favorite song here is probably the opening track, Black Dog. It's one of the most memorable Led Zeppelin tracks, and if it wasn't for Stairway to Heaven, I think Black Dog would probably be the big hit off of the album. Rock and Roll and Going to California also kind of competed for this spot, but I think Black Dog takes it. It mixes sort of slow lyrics with fast rock in a way that makes it the best out of the 3, where Going to California is more slow and Rock and Roll is quicker. Black Dog mixes the 2 the best, I think. Now, I rank this album the best out of all the Led Zeppelin albums I've heard so far, although I only think it's slightly better than Led Zeppelin III. It's definitely better than Led Zeppelin 1 and 2, but it's pretty close to Led Zeppelin III. I think it's just better by a little bit. There's maybe only 1 or 2 songs here that are slightly better than the songs off of Led Zeppelin III. Both of them hit a really good album flow and are pretty consistent. Now, Led Zeppelin IV does manage to take my top spot from 1971. It takes it away from Billy Joel's debut album, Cold Spring Harbor. I think the 2 albums are pretty similar in quality, but Led Zeppelin IV is just more focused and put together, and thus comes together a bit better as an album, where Cold Spring Harbor is good, but a little bit all over the place. So I think that Led Zeppelin IV takes it. Plus, it helps that Led Zeppelin is about 3 years into their career at this point, and Billy Joel is just starting his solo career. So the experience, I think, does help them take this spot for this year. Next up is Train's 2003 album, My Private Nation. It's hitting its 20th anniversary today, so I figured it should be the next album I review. So stay tuned for that and stay minty.